Give me the lamp. I do not like it when treated like that. If you want to live in that cave, stay there forever. I am this lamp genie. What do you want? Aladdin and the Magic Lamp. A long time ago, Aladdin lived in a land far to the east. He lived with his mother. However, he spent his time on the streets stealing food from merchants. One day, while he was taking a nap under a tree, a merchant approached him. The merchant offers Aladdin a bag of gold coins in return for a job. Aladdin then accepted it. Then the merchant took him outside the village to a faraway place between the mountains. The merchant took off his coat and hat and started chanting. Aladdin came to know that the man was actually not a merchant, but a witch. Suddenly, two rocky hills along the mountain opened. Then, a door appeared. The steps slid down into the ground. Aladdin fell on his back. Come in there, witch orders. Aladdin saw the door, but did not want to go down. Don't be afraid. Your task is not hard. You just go down the stairs, through the enchanted garden, and pick up a lamp which you will find there, said the witch. A lamp? Asked Aladdin. Yes, that's all. Get me just that lamp, okay? Replied the witch. Then Aladdin went down into a strange cave. At the bottom of the long dark staircase, he saw a magical flower garden. In the middle of the garden, there was a stone table, and the lamp he was looking for was on that stone. As he climbed back up the stairs, the witch was waiting for him. His face changed. The witch now looks very evil. Seeing that, Aladdin suddenly stopped. Give me the lamp, shouted the witch. I do not like it when treated like that, shouted Aladdin. He stepped back while holding the lamp in his hand. Then, the witch started to get angry. If you want to live in that cave, stay there forever. Then, the witch cast a spell and the door closed again. He left poor Aladdin in the dark. Aladdin went down to the magic garden and studied the lamp carefully. Why would a witch want an odd lamp, huh? He asked himself. Then, Aladdin wiped the lamp to clean the dust that covered it. Suddenly, a puff of bluish smoke came out of it, and a genie appeared. I am this lamp genie. What do you want? Aladdin couldn't believe what he saw. Then he said, I want to go back to my home. Instantly, he turned to his home. He recounted his adventure to his mother. He told her about the cave, about the lamp, and of course about the genie. Then, when his mother rubbed the lamp, the genie came out. I am this lamp genie. What do you want? Aladdin's mother asked for food and gold.
From now on, we will never be poor again,
thought his mother. Suddenly, there was a crowd outside their house. The trumpets sounded and all the people came out. Aladdin ran to see what happened. It turned out to be the Sultan's daughter. She was surrounded by servants and was taking a walk in the village. In the blink of a glance, Aladdin fell in love with her. Everyone knows that only a rich prince can marry the princess. The prince later had to present a chest full of precious stones to the Sultan. And thanks to the help of the lamp genie, Aladdin can easily become a prince. Then, chest filled with precious stones appeared. Aladdin then built a magnificent palace. Then Aladdin introduced himself, and the princess was immediately fascinated by him. After that, they married and lived in his magnificent palace. One day, when Aladdin was away, a merchant came to the palace. He was looking for old lamps. The princess did not know that Aladdin's lamp was magical and could bring wealth. Feeling that the lamp was just an ordinary lamp, the princess offered it to the merchant. It turned out that the merchant was an evil witch. Then the merchant summoned the lamp genie to carry out his sinister plan. At the request of the merchant, suddenly the lamp genie moved the palace, all of Aladdin's wealth, and the princess to a very far place in the desert. When Aladdin found out, he cried desperately. However, he loved the princess very much and decided to go looking for her in the desert. The guards closed the palace doors. Aladdin walked around the palace and entered through a hidden door that only he knew about. Then, Aladdin used his skills to sneak into its room and take the magic lamp back. He rubbed the lamp in front of the evil witch. The witch couldn't do anything either. Then the magic lamp genie came out. "I am this lamp genie. What do you want?" Aladdin thought for a moment, then said, "I want you to take my palace and my princess back to the village." In an instant, everything was back to the way it was. Because he was afraid that the witch will steal the lamp again, Aladdin freed the lamp genie. Finally, Aladdin and princess lived happily ever after. Aladdin even became sultan. Even though the lamp had no more power, Aladdin was never separated from the lamp.